This is phase 3. His first new attack is his side swipe. It has the same animation, but it is much slower and it has a glowing red orb. It's hard to see right now, but he'll do it a lot more. When he completes this side swipe, anyone he hits with this from that side of the room will be flung to the other side of the room, in this case from the right to the left. This is not blockable and you must iframe it. The key iframe timing is right when that red ball in his hand, the red energy in his hand disappears. As soon as you see that, iframe. Another one of his new mechanics here are these blood waves. You can summon multiple of these at once, and they can come from any direction in the room. It can be left, right, it could come from the front, or it can come from the back, and they can come simultaneously. You'll see more about it. The Brawler's debuffs are in the bottom right, the bottom left, sorry. Keep an eye on those throughout the fight. He got black to start. After the first debuff, both groups are going to head to the back of the room. That is the swipe you need to dodge. Both groups head to the back in anticipation for this ball. You have much less time to kill it, so both groups are there already waiting for it. He spawned 2 blood waves here, one from the front and one from the right. All the waves in this fight, it may seem overwhelming when they spawn like this, but they move in the order they spawn. So in this case, the front waves spawn first, followed by the waves on the right, so they will move in that order. Here he spawned 2 sets of fire waves. They spawned at exactly the same time, so they will move at exactly the same time. In this case, he needs to get in the black safe zone, which is to his right. He just barely made it there. Now his debuff switched to red. You'll notice everyone ran straight across the middle instead of going clockwise. This is because of another mechanic the person on the very far right you see there has gotten. Every time he does a debuff switch, you will give one person in your group a question mark debuff. That's literally what it is, it's a question mark. Instead of seeing what debuff you got while you're immune for those 5 seconds, you have no idea what you have. And the only way you find out is until you're already susceptible to exploding. So what the Korean strat is everyone immediately runs across the center. You have to be quick with this. And the reason you can't go clockwise is because the back is reserved for the person with the question mark. You have to give them room so that they don't blow anyone up. Again, watch his hand again. As soon as the red orb in his hand disappears, probably even a couple seconds, like a second or so earlier than that, is when you want to iframe. It didn't happen here, at least not to this brawler, but during this hand switch mechanic where he assigns his hands a color, your own debuff can change during this. So for instance, this brawler has red. While he was running over, it can switch to black. You have to always have one eye on your debuff, because it can change. Dodge. Here they're going to get multiple sets of fire waves. The front wave spawned first. Pay attention to the spawn order. Very important not to panic. Notice everyone running across the middle. You have to do it super quick. Dodge. Here he spawned 2 sets of blood walls. This will continue for the rest of the fight. Dodge. Dodge. If you fail dodging that, you'll get thrown to the other side with the other debuff, and you'll die. Pay attention to the brawler's debuff here. He has red and thus must switch. But notice it switched to black as he started running over. And he doubles back. Super important to watch. That'll only happen during the hand color thing. Dodge. Blood walls. His debuff isn't changing, so he's fine to move. Dodge. Here 4 firewalls are going to spawn. Again, watch their spawn order. You do not need to worry about DPS. The only thing you need to worry about is dodging his energy swipe and the firewalls. It's the only thing that can kill you here. So left, right, front, back. Blood Wall. Once he gets to low HP, it'll always be 2 Blood Walls or 4 Elemental Walls. There is one combo of the Blood Wall that isn't shown in this video. The only safe spot for it is directly in front of the boss, as if you were hitting him in the nose. In this situation, one side of the room has to go directly in front of the boss, as if you were hitting him in the nose, and the other group has to go to the very back of the room, in a straight line. Here you'll notice they got the second shield, but if you look at the boss's buff, they still have 4 minutes on the Enrage. DPS is not an issue in this anymore. You can get potentially 3 to 4 shields. As long as you don't die, you'll be fine.